It is a big day for me because the no pull storage segmented speedrun in 59:57 released about an hour ago. In this video, we are going to hyper-analyze the time. I was really hoping to get a 59:59, but when I finally broke through, it was a 59:58. And then before it could be exported, then I golded a couple more things and it went to 57. In fact, it's actually very close to 56. You know, if I golded, like... Well, I don't even know what my most improved... I guess, like, Weenie or something? If I golded, like, Weenie, I probably would have broken into 56. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways I could have golded. In fact, I have a notepad that I made very quickly. So we're going to be looking at the visible time saves. This is stuff that I can actually visibly see. You know, for example... I'm not gonna know if this load was, like, a little slower than normal, if it was literally just by, like, 3 frames. Like, I'm not gonna know something like that. And then, obviously, strats I could add, as in, like, the time saves that we know exist, but I don't do. Theory things that could happen, which is just, like, extremely rare things to, like, save even more time, theoretically, because we are dealing with a summer best, so I don't really have to be as realistic with my assumptions and estimates and stuff. And, if I had a faster Xbox, maybe I'll think of more stuff as we go on. But yeah, so I expect this video to be at least, like, 2 hours long. I think it'll be pretty long. I have, like, skimmed through this, but I haven't watched, like, the entire thing. But yeah, my worst gold was Knucklehead, and I was going to go into a lot of detail about that later on, but I actually improved it, just in time for this. So, yeah, again, you know, we're not going to just look at, like, how many frames did I lose on this text box or whatever, because I'm never going to get, like, multiple golds in a row with, like, just frame-perfect text box cancels, but there is a lot I can do. You know, even just, like, a slightly bad line, it is reasonable that I can improve, you know. I made a quick estimate in the description of this video. I said, like, if absolutely, you know, everything went right in all my golds and everything, I estimate a 59, sub 59.45 at best, without factoring, like, a new Xbox. That was just, like, a quick estimate thing, because I needed to make the description. I always make my descriptions ahead of time before, like, actually uploading the videos, and that description was really long. But yeah, now I'm going to finally watch this run, because in theory, if I played my absolute best, like, the entire run, I could get a sub-hour, and that is crazy. If you somehow do not know much about this, the world record is 101.20. This is the most popular category in the game. And these are all my golds. It was originally going to be a community segmented thing, because, Ufsta had a couple golds that were faster than mine. It was, like, Sunday and sandwich driving. Well, he had most of his sliding and driving golds were faster, and, like, I think his throwing through electric was faster. And then I came back, and then I got most of the golds back. But, yeah, then I started doing a faster strat and sandwich driving that he never did. And then I beat his Frogfish Gold, and I beat his Sunday Gold. So now all of these splits are mine. It's not a community thing, but if somebody did beat my golds, this would be like I would have made this a community thing. I just wanted to point that out. So yeah, let's get into it. This is pretty generic for, like, a segmented run. Like, it's how you would expect it to be. It's gonna cut to the new split when I'm done with it. It's just gonna be based off splits. Top left is cat eating spaghetti because I was wearing cat ears during this gold, and I did not want that to be in a public YouTube video. I mean, if it was in, like, SD102 or something, it wouldn't have been that bad, but it was literally, like, the only segment I believe was literally, like, in no cheese. And I hadn't golded this segment for ages, and then I just randomly golded it, like, very recently. Okay, so I think immediately, well, I say immediately, but like 40 seconds in, the only thing I've noticed, I didn't need to, like, my line was like a tiny bit unoptimal. I went like very, very, very slightly to the left, which was quite unnecessary. So I probably lost like a frame. Honestly, the hard part is this line after, because I pan the camera down. It's honestly hard to pan the camera down and get a good line here, so I usually have to readjust slightly. But that was pretty good. I might have lost like a frame, but I can't say for sure. Again, I don't know, like, you know, how fast my cutscene skips were, how good my loads were. But I only noticed, like, a frame. But I mean, hey. 1 frame so far. Back, I'm not sure if it was at this point, but, okay, so, there's a thing, with the Xbox, known as cache loads, where basically, the Xbox can store, like, 2.2 gigabytes of cache, like, C-A-C-H-E, disk cache. So, if you put in a game and then put in movie's load should get, like, a tiny bit faster, unless you're talking, like, a frame or maybe 2 frames per load. I'm not sure if I did that back then, so there might be immediate times here, but because I don't actually know if I knew of it at this point, then I'm just gonna ignore that. I already know what I'm gonna put down for this one, I'm pretty sure. This gold is flawed. I was trying to figure out, because as you can see, my summer best in this is 104.57. I believe it is my second... It's either my second or third oldest gold in the entire thing. But yeah, I'm not gonna hyperanalyze this, because I've already done that in my own time, like, months ago. But I had a segment that got very close to the gold, and was the second fastest I'd ever completed this segment. And I was trying to figure out, like, how did I do that, dude? I need to, like, compare the 2 videos next to each other, and that's exactly what I did. And this goal is still good, but then I realized why it was so good, which we'll get to in a minute. So I've already made a couple, like, visible mistakes, but again, I'll get into the specifics in a minute. What you really need to know right now is that, like, this is a good depression for sure, but yeah, it cheats a little bit. But yeah, so it's just, again, just very normal, generally clean depression, except for, like, small, but, you know, getting a 208 at all is quite hard. I'm the only person with a 208. I think the second fastest, I think Usta has, like, a 209.4 or something. So yeah, 208 is, like, very, very hot. Also, my ending movement here is really good. It's actually, like, extremely optimal. Like, it is very hard to, like, especially do this movement, like, perfectly. And then you do your jump as little as possible to just, like, land on the railing as quickly as possible, to then cartwheel to the token as quickly as possible. But yeah, this was just really, really good for a general segment. However, for a goal, it's slightly flawed. So what about that segment I said earlier? Well, by the time I cancelled Mindy's text box in that other segment I highlighted, you know, comparing them, at this point, I was 12 entire frames ahead. And then I ended up, like, a few, I don't know how many frames behind, like 8 frames behind or something at the end. And the reason why is because I didn't buffer the token. And now I'm a little conflicted, because I did say that I don't have to be so realistic. And I do have, actually, a few golds that are, like, quote-unquote impossible for me to beat unless I don't be a pussy. You know, unless I go for these one-off things I normally don't go for. But out of all of my quote-unquote impossible golds, this one is the reason why like, okay, it's extremely optimal still. Getting 208s at all is hard. But, like, getting... This one is like the most reasonable one to beat, because all I have to do is just not buffer that token, and then just play a teeny tiny bit better, which isn't exactly realistic on its own, but because it's the second split, it would inevitably happen. I would gold this. And all it is, like, and the difficulty increase I'd have to take would be less than all of the other quote-unquote impossible golds I have. So... yeah, I guess I should count this one. So I know that there are 12 frames at least, so that adds up to 13 frames. All the timings are, like, slightly inaccurate, by the way, because live split records like 40 FPS. I think my OBS is at, like... because this is off by, like, yeah, 0.1. It's off by, like, a frame. That was a frame-perfect text box cancel. Just if the text box, like, just doesn't even show up because you skipped it so fast, that's frame-perfect. Because you are able to skip a text box a frame before the text box actually appears. But yeah. Basically... I forgot what I was saying now. So yeah, my no cheese gold is, like, phenomenal. I kind of had, like, a little nudge there. It's hard to say if I lost anything from that. Yeah, I probably lost, like, 2 to 3 frames from that. I should be paying more attention to this, because I am talking quite a bit. I don't, get rid of the text box here, by the way, because, it'll just keep coming back, and if I just don't do anything to it, then it'll... otherwise, it'll just get in the way more if I just cancel it, so I just let it have free range. But it does get in the way during, like, the actual attempt to sandwich out of bounds. Speaking of sandwich out of bounds, I will go into a more detail about that than the other tricks, because this one is, like, the hardest to play close to gold on, you know. With, like, the old bulldozer strat, it was quite easy to play close to gold as long as you got the strat, but this time is different, so that's why it can be hard to play it close to, like, summer best. That's, like, one thing. But yeah, you nitro on here, land on the other side. That dirt pile can be a huge bitch. But I did make it across. Now, this, because there's so many steps to it, and there's so many things that can go wrong, it is genuinely hard to play, like, close to gold. On average, you probably play, like, maybe, like, 0.8, 0.9 off the gold. But still, we can analyze. So, it's obviously hard to say for sure, because there's so much that goes into it. But I feel like I could have done this a little faster. The paddy wagon is hard to control and stuff, and because I immediately landed, there wasn't too much I could have done, but I feel like I could have turned faster than this, or I could have nitroed sooner. It's debatable, like, what the fastest way is of getting across there, but one thing, it might look like I lost time because I'm, like, hugging the thing, but you kind of have to grab the checkpoint. In fact, what is quite realistic to happen is that you get stuck in the corner, but because I got such a low height on the dirt pile, like, I was able to turn sooner, so I could mostly avoid it. So, that was actually mostly optimal, and this turn was mostly optimal, too. That was, yeah, so that was really good. The only part that was, like, really slightly flawed was this. I feel like I could have done it a teeny tiny bit faster, although how much is very hard to say. Especially because if I nitroed sooner, it might have been harder to, like, just get, like, no height off, like, just the perfect amount of height off of that. So because I don't know for sure, in cases where I don't know, but I'm still, like, fairly confident I could have saved something, I should probably lowball an estimate, just in case I'm wrong. I feel like I could have saved, like, 0.1, maybe. 0.1, I don't know. Actually, maybe even earlier than 0.1. Yeah, because if I just nitroed sooner, I could have nitroed, like, even about here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, I should probably lowball it just in case, but I'd say maybe, especially because then I don't know if I'd have the right angle for the thing. So I'll try and lowball, and I'll say like 6 frames. I'll say like 6 frames. Did I lose anything from that? It's hard to say. With stuff like that, it's hard to say. I didn't bonk or anything, but I do feel like I might have lost a frame. But maybe not. It is very hard to say with that. That's pretty good. The trigger finish line is more to the right than it is the left. For some reason, the trigger's at a 26-degree angle, if I remember correctly. I guess one thing I could have done is take more... I could have gone a little more right, but instead I strained my angle a little bit. I think that caused me to maybe pass the finish line like a frame later or something. So I'll add that to the 6 frames, I guess. When should I lose from that? Again, I said I wouldn't really fuck with text boxes, but I'm curious. So I could have skipped it on this frame. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I only lost 3 frames on that. That's actually really good. Yeah, so I'll just say 7 frames. Okay, we want to be a tiny bit conservative. So 20 frames. I'm skipping these PowerPoint cutscenes, like, ASAP, by the way. If you hold, like, a button, you can skip them ASAP. Now, my 3K gold, as far as I'm aware, is, like, really, really, really good. But that was also a frame-perfect text box, the first cancel. Now, one thing that I'm not going to add time to, because I don't actually know if I lost time, but it generally... When in-game cutscenes are loading, you want to try and stand still, because then it'll help them load as fast as possible, but it seems like this one loaded pretty quickly anyway. So I don't think this one actually lost me anything. So I'm not gonna count that. I could have taken a better line here. I think maybe like a frame. There is a bash boost I don't do here, but I'm not gonna count it because, again, that's for time saves later. Like, time saves I don't do in my actual, like, runs. Okay, so, because I got bad RNG, I mean, I guess I could just call it average RNG, but because I didn't get good RNG, and I wanted the extra manlies, I had to spin the fogger, the second fogger, so I lost 3 frames. So I probably lost a frame at the beginning, but I definitely lost 3 there, so say 24 frames. You definitely want to spin the foggers. I mean, You don't really need them, but at my level, you might occasionally appreciate getting them. And you could say that about a lot of manlies at that point. But here's something I'm not even doing in runs currently, is called steamed earlier. However, before I can get to that, I made a small mistake. Well, I had to, like, readjust my line a bit, because this guy burped, like, in my way. And it's hard to say how much I lost, because I needed to go in this direction anyway. I'd say maybe, like, 2 frames, maybe? I feel like that's a fair estimate. Now 26. Steamed early can be so hard to do, like, optimally. But if I remember correctly, my steamed early was, like, insane here. Oh, wait, actually... You would prefer for your jumps... for my jump to, like, have me dipping a little sooner there, but I actually dipped a little late and actually went a bit forward. I think I actually lost, like... I think I lost at least, like, a few frames, I think, from that. I'd say, like, 3 frames, maybe, but it could have been more, maybe. Potentially. So, this was really optimal. It's hard to, like, make it across without needing to, like, spin. Was that slightly unoptimal just then? That was... You could argue that was a tiny bit unoptimal, but the thing is that you do kind of need to adjust your camera angle, your angle in a weird way for this, because otherwise it's inconsistent. I used to never do that strat. I only used to do it when I was going for golds and stuff, but now I just always do it, and I can't remember the last time I screwed it up. Ooh, that was definitely unoptimal. It would have been good, but then I, for some reason, went, like, pretty... But I should have just maintained, like, this. This would have been good. I don't know how much I lost, but I'd say maybe even, like, 2 frames. Yeah, that was... Yeah, it was fine. So theoretically, so bounce this is a 4 frame, and I got the first frame. However, you want the 4th frame optimally, because then you're further away. But I got it on the last possible frame. So I lost 3 frames from that. So I estimated, like, 2 frames from the other thing, and then I lost, like, 3 frames here, so that's 5 frames, so now we are over half a second. I should probably skip loading screens. I could have, like, not buffered that token, but that actually just is unreasonable, and I do again, depression and all that, but, like, walking into a token is, like... The bounce token in depression is one of the easier non-buffer 2 frames because you're, you know, forced into it at a consistent speed and, like, you know, like, and you're approaching it from above, whereas with this, like, optimally, you just walk into it with just, like, no setup, which is unrealistic. I know it's a gold, but I mean, like, I'm never going for that. Like, the depression thing was, it was earlier in the run and easier. Whereas even doing steamed earlier, it saves like half a second, and I don't even do it in my runs currently because it only saves half a second, and relative to its difficulty, if it saved like a second, it'd be way more worth it, but half a second is hard to justify, especially when there's like a couple like tiny RNG factors that can, like the foggers being in the way for me just then, and not just then earlier, and I lost a couple frames. You know, issues like that, and... The whole thing, so I would never, like, actually go for that, but I guess that can go into, like, the theory thing. As it was, like, it was pretty good. There's nothing I can do here until this point. This should be pretty standard, actually. It should just be, like, regular fan cycle. Yeah, I passed that about as quickly as it's actually possible to go too fast. But I usually don't have that problem. I could have been closer to the edge. Now let's see how good my turn was. Not bad. But then my angle's a bit fucky until I correct it. It's hard to say how much I actually lost. Yeah, no, you can even visibly see that was unoptimal. That's probably like... Especially if I cut it very close to the edge, that was like at least like 3 frames. And then this is usually not an issue. Actually, hold on. I could have went into the trigger. Like, the trigger isn't... It's a little more lenient than I did it just then. But then if you also go too fast, then you can't get the token here. And I don't know if, like, how fast I can afford to go. So I guess I just won't... Oh, did that lose me anything? Okay, hold on. To see if that lost me anything, we need to see how the button reacts. Okay, I think this is like the last frame before it gets... Yeah, no, I lost time from that. Because with the other one, it took like 4 frames or something until it started, like... Hold on. So I think around here is when it or like here maybe is when it should have started doing it. I think I lost 5 frames. Yeah, I want to say like 5. Maybe I should have done the time saves like for like each individual segment and then because then it'd be like, oh, this segment has this much time save. But as a whole, it doesn't really matter. It matters, you know, like how much time save there actually is. So this one is super recent. Frame perfect text box cancel, and my skip was not perfect, but well, actually, it couldn't have really been really any faster reasonably without needing wood. Although I guess that's how I would make the gold faster, but again, that goes into the theory things. I wouldn't intentionally do that. Yeah, I don't really see any notable time saves with this one. Even a frame perfect text box cancel there. Alright, so Rubber Dub has like nothing. I think this is the first one where I've just seen like pretty much nothing. Which I think is interesting. That was another frame. I've gotten a lot better at text box cancels, I suppose. Oh, that was a bit slow. I know this one only golded for a specific reason, I remember. So already, I think didn't I wiggle a tad? I guess not. But I guess stuck on this for a bit. It's hard to say how much I lost. Oh, I just fucking stood there for some reason. It looks like I lost a max of 10 frames, but it's hard to tell, like... Yeah, honestly, I'd say like 8, maybe. Compared to doing it, like, my old gold did it super lightning fast, so, yeah, I lost like 8 frames. That also could have been a tad faster. It's possible to, like, turn back, like, so fast it doesn't even look like Patrick was, like... Basically, from, like... I think even, like, here or something. Or, like, here. Actually, it might be this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Okay, so I think I lost like 4 frames. That might be a little conservative. It's hard to say. However, this happened. If you miss the jumps on like the perfect frame, you actually get a boost up. So in theory, I could just get boost after boost after boost up there, but just getting one in the first place is incredibly unrealistic because you have to fuck it up in like a perfect way. I believe it is like a 1 frame. I think yeah, I got stuck on this a tad. I maybe lost like 1 frame. I also could have ledge grabbed that sooner. I don't know how much sooner. I think I could have turned back around here. Then again, this cutscene is inconsistent with how long it takes to load, so it's hard to say, like, if me taking time there, like, actually meant anything. Because compared to the cutscene loading really fast, like, it would have just been the same result. One thing, by the way, for, like, optimizing golds is, like, when Patrick lands on the ground, you want to cartwheel, like, ASAP, but that is doing it literally with every single jump in the entire game. You'd risk ledge grabbing on, like, everything. That's just, like, not happening and can't play that well. I do remember with this gold, I was purposely, like, trying to, you know, do that, but still constantly fucked up. Also, my line was a little off. Maybe lost, like, 2 frames? And then I lost, like, a frame earlier, I said, so that's, like, 57 frames. Again, just, like, the cartwheel thing, then I'd be piling up a lot of time save, but it's just incredibly, like, unrealistic. Even for a gold. Especially when, like, most of the segment's really good, and again, it has, like, that 1 time save. So it'll be a very long time until I beat this again, unless we gold this, but there hasn't been any new time saves for this segment. The last time there was a time save was when, I think it was this, is when I found this. Saves 0.2 if you get it, but it's a little hard, and obviously wouldn't practice it, it's too out of the way. And, you know, so... Yeah, that was pretty fast. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, it's pretty much fine, I think. Yeah, BBBH is so straightforward that we may never get, like, a time save here again. It'd be semi-realistic for that to be the case. You want to slam that button, like, towards the front, because otherwise you might cartwheel too fast and actually drown in the lava. So that was on purpose. It's, like, a necessary thing. Again, if I cartwheeled on all that shit, like, absolutely perfectly, I mean, I could have even saved probably, like, a quarter of a second by now, but that just is not happening. You know, this is for summer best, not fucking TAS, you know what I mean? Not looking at this with, like, TAS glasses, you know? Although I will say, I found recently that you don't need to pull as quietly as I did here. I could have absolutely paused a teeny tiny bit sooner. Even, like, here. Oh, wait. Okay, so I only lost like a frame then. Okay. Well, still. Oh, I only count menuing if a gold like visibly has like bad menuing, but I don't think that ever happens. Fast corkscrew, it doesn't matter until after the cycle. Nothing matters until after the cycle. Now what matters is just my ending movement, to which it was relatively clean. Also, actually, one thing I will say, you want 2 frames and not 1 frames, because the 1 frames you have to be a frame closer, and that is technically, in 3K Sponge Bowl, I actually just got the 1 frame, which is rare. Obviously, the 2 frames, like, twice as easy. So I actually will give myself a frame there, because the vast majority of the time I get the 2 frame, so I would expect, you know, so, yeah. It's hard to say how good this was, this turn. I did say this would be a long video, but you know, I don't want to be here for now. See, look, so my angle was a bit fucked. I turned a tad too much. I'm like beginning to correct it. But I bet I lost at... and I had a little bit of a... Yeah, no, so I'd say maybe like 2 frames. So, hooray, a second. Uno second. And depression I can't do unless I don't buff a bounce. 3K I can't do unless I do that dumbass fucking... you know, late route. So... I'm, like, never golding this again, because I accidentally did this so fast that I needed the wood 1 frame, which I would never intentionally do. But, considering I did do it, and what would be realistic on top of it, or, like, individually, I would save a little bit by, again, the trigger is more to the right than it is here. It's hard to say, like, maybe about here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I lost, like, 4 frames, technically, but I'll never actually beat the fucking gold, but, yeah. You know, by that logic, I could just be like, oh, well, I could theoretically get IL world record here, which is, like, a mid-26, I think. Instead, I got, like, a super low 28. But, yeah, dude, even frame-perfect text box cancel. Oh, wait, did I get this one? Okay, no, I didn't, but still. Yeah, that was splice menuing because my gold accidentally warped to the wrong place, but the place where I warped to, it didn't lose time in the overall run just for the individual segment, and it was objectively harder than this, so I felt like it was fit to splice, because I was desperate to keep that gold. You know, I thought 59 was going to be, like, this extremely difficult thing, some are best to get. So I was like, okay, you know, I'm never beating this rubber dub gold, but I'm desperate to keep it because I need all the help I can get, which is why I also kept depression and, well, I didn't even know about depression, but that's why I kept 3K. But then I beat it by over a second, the goal, so. But to be fair, I added a time save that at the time, I just didn't think I was gonna add. For like a long time. So this is literally just SD 101, pretty much, except like, there's a Wrecking Ball cycle that's like slightly different. That was a little bad. I maybe lost like... Then again, I had to take a line here anyway, but I probably lost like 2 frames at least. Again, I'm being relatively conservative, because it's hard to, like, piece all this, like, good gameplay together and then correct, like, what went wrong. Although, I believe here I might have lost, like, a frame? Maybe. This turn kinda sucked. It is possible to get faster than that. Although I don't know how much I lost in particular, but I'd say, again, at least, like, 5 frames. Oh yeah, as you can see, my summer best at this point was 58, 59, 58, so... As you can see, like... I could have already, but again, like... it hadn't been exported yet, and then, like... You know, this was, like, the day after I got the summer best, I believe. Yeah, okay, so that is definitely... I kind of muscle memoried a bit, because in SD101 you go through the middle, but in SD102 you go through here. I lost, like... it's very hard to say how much I lost. But it had to be, like, at least a frame. I keep saying at least. You'll hear me say that a lot, apologies in advance, but, like... It's hard to just... You know, it's hard to fully comprehend every, you know, every single tiny thing, like how much it's, and I don't want to overestimate. I don't want to be like, yeah, I could get like 5930, and then I just don't get it for like a million years without like new time saves. Speaking of which, there's like hardly any strats I could even add at this point, and the ones I could add, I know I said this about Now Though Men one, and then I added that anyway, but like, God, it really is just like unrealistic. You gotta think about, like, doing it and then finally doing it optimally, like, all the times it'll kill your runs, on top of, like, how reset-heavy everything already is. I suppose I could have turned a tiny bit faster there. Let's watch the whole thing again. I could have landed a little more to the right, but that in itself is fine. I nitroed a little late again. I got more speed here than in SD101, but because I got more speed, I wasn't able to turn as optimally, so I probably, like, kind of roughly broke even. One thing that's for sure here, though, is that this wasn't as optimal. Collided, you know, a little bit of an invisible wall colliding there. Granted, my line was good, but then I fucked up at the... It's hard to say how much I actually saved. I mean, I could save. Throughout, like, this entire trick. I haven't actually done this sandwich driving that many times with this trick, because I implemented this while I was doing all extras, and, you don't do this in SD102 in that category. And I've only been back to this for a bit, you know, a few weeks. So this was probably negated, but then, at least comparing it to 101. But then I collided a bit with that, and I should have taken a better line, so I probably lost, like 8 frames, maybe? Oh, wait. I think I just added 6 frames. I need to add 8. Wait, no, didn't I just add 9? Fuck, I don't know. And then, of course, like before, we will see the ending. I could have gone more to the right here, so again, probably like a frame. Not even frame perfect text box cancel while I live. Dude, this video is gonna be longer than I thought. I'm 44 minutes in. But in the actual segmented run, I'm 18 minutes in. Wow. I hate to, it is kind of cool when, like, a segmented run has, like, really old stuff, because then it's like, oh, wow, this segment must be, like, really good. And this one, I haven't been able, dude, I haven't been able to get within a second of this gold for, like, as long as I can remember. Pretty much since I got it. One flat 45 summer best. Granted, my summer best was not, like, fully optimal at this point, but yeah. Wow, that was super fast. See how fast that was, dude? Of course I got cartwheel, but it's possible to not get cartwheel buffer. But, Wow, this is really optimal. No fucking wonder I can't beat it. I'm like cartwheeling like at the edge of the blocks. Not perfectly, but like really well. Like that was like the worst one just then, like a couple blocks ago. Yeah, anyway, it's possible to load into flooding block and like your cartwheel buffer gets in. That's why we have to do bungee first, just so that like it makes it way more like makes it like actually like possible. But then it still sometimes just doesn't work for some reason. There's probably like some god cycle here that we haven't figured out, but you know, I haven't found anything. So they might have looked a tiny bit unoptimal just then, but I don't even think it was. God, this is really good. Cartwheeling optimally on these blocks is especially hard because it's hard to even see when you land on them properly. Obviously, if I was being insanely picky, then I could say more about that, but Brain Perfect Xbox cancel. But I, you know, okay. I didn't drive through the oil here, which I actually didn't. It's been pretty much proven that driving through the oil there is faster, and I've been doing it since. I'm gonna look into Discovery's channel and type in oil. Okay, well, it hasn't been looked into properly, but somebody said the oil patch is like frames faster. And I do run both laps now, so it's hard to say how much I've lost from that. Give me a second, please. Okay, so I thought a fly, I thought I got rid of a fly just before recording, and then I looked behind me and it was just chilling there, and then I tried to kill it with the fly swatter and I missed. So yeah, that's something. Weenie, by the way, is probably my hardest gold to beat that isn't quote-unquote, like, impossible gold. Which, by the way, for my quote-unquote impossible golds, it's just Rubber Dub, Depression, and, well, actually, I guess we won't count Depression. And Rubber Dub and BBBH, Rubber Dub 2 and BBBH. Yeah, I'm not sure how much I lost here. But it's probably, again, it's probably at a bare minimum of like 2 frames, double that, so it's 4 frames, so 85. But yeah, this one is like my worst gold in the run that I can improve. I have an all extras gold that's like 0.4 faster, and I grab the extra and that shit loses like half a second or something. But I literally just don't know. I literally just, like, don't know how I managed that because I didn't highlight it. So, yeah. But I think it should, so 308, like, should be possible, but my gold's, like, 309.85 or something like that. Instead. I feel like it's faster to drive through the oil here, but I keep going back and forth with it. I just, it's so... I'm really struggling to decide if I feel like it's actually faster. The IL world record does it, but I don't know. Because you get a good line for this anyway. If anything, it's technically... You technically get a better line. But you have to turn the corner more, so it's... I don't know. Because I can't really say. It's like, considering, okay, because I've been very conservative this whole time. Okay, that's notable, but in a second, get to that in a second. Because I've been conservative the whole time, I won't be this time, and I'll say it probably saves like a frame. Because I don't even know if it saves anything, but if it does, it's definitely like 1 to 2 frames, so I'll just be a little less conservative and say that it's gonna save me something. I don't know if it's faster here. to hug the left side or the right side, because then you gotta do a wider turn. It's hard to say, so I'm not gonna count that one. On lap 2, you definitely want to cut the corner, but on lap 1, it's hard to say. As for that, getting damaged does lose time for a very brief period, but I don't know exactly how long. I'll just say like 2 frames. I could have nitroed a tad sooner here. Dude, I could have nitroed like 13 frames faster, but that doesn't mean I saved 13 frames. You know what, honestly? I probably just won't back to... Because I already said that I'm, like, almost positive I can get 308. Even if I'm a little conservative with that, I could... Actually, I can't remember if it's exactly half a second that extra costs. But I can definitely get at least, like, 309.2. So, honestly, I think... Yeah, that turn was bad as well. How the fuck is this a gold? Even that, like, that turn was really, like... Was a tiny bit unoptimal, but I guess... For gold, it was good. Like, I guess I just won't go through the rest of this. Because I don't really even understand how it is still my gold and how I can never get close to beating it. But I'm gonna say that I can get at, like, seriously now, like... There's no way I can't get a 309.2 at the actual bare minimum. I already added some time saves, so I'm not sure, like... I guess I should start doing seconds now. So when you're at... So, yeah, literally, like, actual bare minimum of 2 seconds, even that's being conservative, actually. When everything's said and done, plus, like, the other micro things I'm trying to realize, yeah, so I'll just say, like, 2.2. Frogfish has, like, low variance. Like, I found out before there's attack can be as late as 0.3 seconds later than somebody else's. But, yeah. Also, wow, I got a Frogfish gold and, like, a dude... Yeah, 1 flat, 13 best possible time when my summer best was 1 flat 04. It's nuts. So what we're looking for here is how quickly I could have been attacking, which I think would be from here. So 1, 2. Oh, it's okay. So I lost like a frame, I think. And then that was perfect. There is a theory thing that can happen here. We'll look at it later. That was fucking fast as hell. Yeah, so again, it's really, like, it was pretty optimal, but maybe, like, 2 frames. Like 3 frames. This actually takes a while, so I'm going to increase the speed. My rock slide gold is one of the other impossible golds, and yeah, it sucks. I kind of regret doing it. Like, if I didn't have any quote-unquote impossible golds, I think my summer best would, like, barely be 1 flat, which kind of sucks. I could have done that. You can theoretically play, like, super risky here. But, you know, 32 minutes into the run, I'm not doing that. So... I'll just say, like, a frame. you can build up more speed than that, and I could have been more risky and went on the edge. That wasn't too slow, though. I should probably put it back on regular speed. It's quite risky, but you can... I don't know how much I could have saved, but I would bet probably at least like 6 frames or something, so... That could have been like... Probably like 3 frames faster, so I don't know. That was kind of a bad corner cut. Let's see how fast my dip was. You know how good your drop is because of how close you'll drop next to TNT? That was, like, practically perfect. You do not want to jump there, because then you don't start accelerating, because you're not on the ground, so you're not accelerating. You won't be, it'll take longer to land on the ground, which means it'll take longer to get, like, back to full speed. I don't know how much that lost. Just check some frames. Okay, that was a little, that was like a couple frames. Also, this is from no major glitches, because if other categories have equivalent segments, then they're allowed to be... They're allowed to be in here, because... My playstyle is the exact same for every category, except maybe, like, cheap%, but that's just, like, Neptune. And my Neptune Gold, even if I did want to count cheap%, like, I can't even transfer a Neptune Gold, because in no poll storage you upgrade Guitar and Neptune. But yeah, I went a little to the right when I didn't need to. I probably lost like 2 frames, but yeah, I got a 1 frame just then, and I only went for that because my run was, it was a no reset run. Somebody might have redeemed it, or might have just done it because it was run 9,000. Crazy that I got to run 10,000 recently, no poll storage, and that was the first category I've ever done that in, and it's only existed for 3 years, and when you factor, like, all the breaks and stuff, I've only been, and, like, times of playing other I've only been playing it for, like, a year and a half max. Like, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's another reason why this gold is, so it wasn't just the 1 frame, I'm also purposely skipping manlies, especially in this category. You absolutely cannot afford to do that anymore. But even in no poll storage, like, missing those stacks would absolutely put me in trouble. At the very, very least, I would need the 2-second stack in SCDA, which I always grab anyway now, but... Yeah, I don't know, I mean... That's why, another reason why it's like... But no poll storage, I suppose I could, and I missed 2. I, like, literally need those manlies, so I... Maybe I'll give myself back some of the frames then, because I'll literally never, like... The more strats we add, like, the more, like... Not gonna intentionally do that again, I'm done with that. I'm done with, like, intentionally doing stuff to just, like, get golds. You know, after I get 59... After I got 59 Sunvest, there's nothing to go for anymore in that regard. Also, you can end Rock Slide very slightly faster by jumping to the right, but... Again, it's literally like a frame. But considering, like, the TNT and stuff... You know, I would even bring this back down to, like, probably, like, 16 frames or something. Okay, this one's also from... Oh, wow, this one's really old. 125.56. With a 123.27 summer best. Yeah, this was before Rubber Skip. In fact, you can tell this is old, because in no major glitches, I would literally never be able to transfer a gold here into no poll storage anymore. Because the vast majority of the time, I don't even have enough to upgrade in... I don't even have enough to upgrade in this split, and even when I do, it's like halfway through tunnel, and I've already like lost some frames here and there. Okay, I lost a tiny bit from that. Actually... Okay, this might sound really bad, but I currently cannot remember if you can make it over there without jumping. I feel like you must be able to. In which case, I lost like 5 full frames. Oh wow, that was bad too. Lost at least like 3 frames. Could have been a little more optimal. But yeah, there's a reason why this golded and why... I think this one might... I think this one's my second oldest overall, but... Dude, and that's another thing. Here's another thing as well. That says no way. I stopped doing this because it's slightly slower, but I don't know by how much. So, also, that was unnecessary. I could have taken a better line to the box by maybe like a frame, but also I just... Actually, the box was moving... Okay, I probably didn't actually lose anything there, never mind. Instead of bowling here, you can see my cursor, I bowl like this way. And that bowl was a little late anyway. I lost like probably like, maybe even like 5 frames. I'm gonna put 5 frames. Now this doesn't matter for a bit, so that's why I skip forward by 5 seconds. Now the reason why this golded is because this trick is probably the hardest trick in the game that I do. And one thing that you need, like, a golden rule is, like, obviously, like, how much height you get depends on, like, the angle and you jump off the eel and, like, how soon you jump off them. So I purposely delay my jump off the eel and stuff and go more to the right, which is, like, a worse angle. But this time, I got, like, no fucking height. My movement was a tiny bit bad, technically, but, like, dude, it doesn't even matter. My fucking... I would never intentionally, because it's just a death sentence. 99% of the time, you'll die with that sort of height. But I somehow it worked. Even though I got, like, no height, the spewer just fucking threw the spewed out the ball at, like, a pretty high height. So even though it's not realistic at all, and even though I didn't do it absolutely perfectly, I'm literally, like, never gonna intentionally do that again. Okay, I lost, like... Actually, nah, that ball was a little early, if anything. I normally... That's probably, at best, like, about as... Or, I mean, at worst, like, as fast as how I normally do it, because I normally delay my ball a bit more to guarantee that I shoot the popper. Movement was sloppy there. So I lost, like... 2 frames. Okay, I lost like another frame there probably. Again, it was just about that spew boost being just so ungodly fast. And now here's a super recent gold. As you can see, 59-58 again. It's a little older than the sandwich driving one by like a day. It is possible there to get a ledge grab, but I literally haven't gotten it since 2021. People discovered it was possible, and then a few runners started getting it pretty quickly after we realized it was possible, including me. And then I just never got it again after getting a certain gold. So I was only able to beat this gold recently because my gold was like 209 point like something. I was thinking of getting rid of it before because literally just couldn't beat it. And then a 1.5 second time save was found in Bungie, but you literally can't do it in this category. Which is really stupid. But yeah, nah. So basically, again, now I'll go into the theory time saves because I have had golds of it before, and It's not like I'm doing a 2-frame, like, unbuffered or something. It's pretty surprising that I got enough height for that. I only, like, barely made it. I didn't have to... Actually, even that was kind of good. That could have been a tiny bit faster. Like, this has a decent amount of variance with, like... Trick's pretty hard, by the way. I only started doing it recently. But that was almost as good as it could have been, but maybe it could have been like 2 frames faster or something, so just add like 2. That was a little risky, but didn't really lose any time from that. Once the buffer there actually saves time. Except, there was also a ledge grab skip here, and I did used to get golds with that too, but I've just completely abandoned the strat, whereas it is actually possible for me to get the ledge grab skip with the other thing, so I'm not going to count this one. But it will be in the theory thingy. This was unoptimal. I should have jumped. When SpongeBob yeah, so I probably lost like 3 frames from that, and then... I mean, I did trampoline at an angle that would get me, like, to land quicker. Okay, I'll say there was, like, probably, like, 4 frames of time save there from just, like, movement improvement. And now this doesn't matter until actually getting the trick. It's possible to land up top without landing on the side, and then I don't have to do a jump, but that's super hard to react to, but honestly, like... honestly, I lost like half a second, probably. So we're gonna add even though it's like super unrealistic, I'll add like half a second. And then bungee. Again, this is my first gold with like the ledge grab skip for the Chris animation skip, but it's debatable. Like, I mean, it's pretty. Okay, so I missed that target, but I only lost like a couple frames from that because I recovered it so well at the end. Also, I don't normally do this, but I just straight up ignored the spawner, and honestly, that did save me several frames, and again, we're eventually gonna get to the point where I just can't even afford to do that, but right now I can afford to. Or if I get really good RNG and combos and stuff. I forgot to say this earlier, but there's something in BBBH. This, cool. I just call it God RNG. In the lava room, it's possible to, like, for a spinner to be perfectly in the way, so that you cartwheel so close to him that he dies and takes knockback, and then goes into a stack of floating boxes and TNT. And you get, like, a couple hundred from it, or I think no, it's more than that, even. I think it's, like, 250. And that solves all your problems. And in theory, it doesn't lose any time to get, it's just extremely unlikely, but it is theoretically possible. And something that is out of my control, so it is possible, so technically I guess I shouldn't be removing frames here because even right now, the vast majority of the time I don't even need the spawner, so I guess I'll... Okay, so... Hold on. One thing... The thing is, right... You need to be careful. You need to, like... If you cartwheel too close to the melons, you just break them. And again, it's like theory, but, like... I don't know if I want to count that... There's a time save here. I'm just saying that now, so I hopefully remember later. But this is looking pretty good so far. You know, this segment, other than a couple tricks, it's mostly just like movement. Although how fast you do this can play a big part. I didn't really see anything obvious there. And then I copy off the clock because it saves like 0.6 or 0.7 or something. And then, the reason after I turn here, I actually got a pretty... That was pretty risky to get a warp like that. I had to walk there and not cartwheel because otherwise, like, you'll always get damaged by the explosion, so... And then got ledge grab skip. My movement there was a tiny bit unoptimal. Of course, there's gonna be more time. Oh, wow, that was actually extremely fast. But, okay, I also lost like a couple frames there. So, but obviously there's more time save than what I'm putting for like most of these segments. But right now is just what I can actually like visibly see. So that was maybe like 3 frames time save. Now, this one is also an impossible one, even though you'll see in a second I actually made a mistake, like an actual visible mistake. First of all, I could have done this a teeny tiny... Yeah, I could have even done that, like, 0.2 faster. But if we're having any realism to it at all, like 6 frames or something. I'll do 7. But you'll see now. Also, I could have... Same thing with, same thing as BBBH. One, two, I think this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll say 7. 6. I'll say 6. So as you can see here, I missed a jump there. And that was a pretty fast recovery, but I still lost like a few frames. And I got the 1 frame there instead of the 2 frames, so... Okay, well, so that adds up to like a whole ass second at this point. All those frames have been adding up, plus like the half a second from earlier, but I already added that into the time. So, 3.7 seconds of time save, so... But make no mistake, I just like... I may genuinely, like... I don't want to say never, but for the next, like, couple years even, it's entirely possible I don't gold this. Because, something happened. So I had to grab the stack, and at this point in time, I only ever grabbed the stack when I needed it, which was just, like, half the time. So, it, from the 3 meter 2 frame, from the load, if you have good enough movement, you can make this. With also getting the 2 second stack, or maybe a bit more than that. But then this happens. And I've never seen this in my life. Yeah. So, normally that doesn't happen and you just have to take an L, and I can't believe I unironically said that, but yeah, no, you need to take an L and just, like, throw it at the move, and then just, like, either slam the foggers again and throw them at the buttons, or it's slightly faster to then cartwheel over to the buttons. But seriously now, like... dude, it just sucks. Like, my movement wasn't good, and I could have thrown sooner, but it just doesn't matter because I've never ever gotten that before. And again, even though that is technically visible, I don't even know how the hell I got that to happen. I must have held my stick in such a absolutely perfect way, and it would need to be based off like the 2 frame load and then like that exact move. It's just... It may get replicated again, but, oh god, it's just, And then I'd have to hope that, like, everything else lined up. So right now I'm saying no time save. Okay, this one is actually not as old as I thought. I think this one here, like, was old. My movement might have seemed slightly unoptimal then, but it has to be. If it's perfect, then Dennis will, basically, Dennis will fuck with you and you lose, like, a bunch of times, so you need to be slightly unoptimal. So the thing is with this is just, like, how quickly you hit him. This is all, like, super optimal, I would say. Especially this. If you hit him too early, he won't do his hurt animation, you lose, like, 3 seconds, but that was practically as early as it could have been. And then, this could have been a little earlier, could have done it a little more off the edge. And then you gotta get the 2 frames. I'd say there was at most like 2 frames of time save there. Again, cartwheel buffer, although this one seems way more consistent for some reason. Dude, I got quite a few golds when I had a 1 flat 45 summer best. I don't know what that's about. This will be for the theoretical time save, but in all extras, I did get there's a fast cycle you can do here that I've never... I didn't really even get a full from beginning to end. Like, I never even got in practice after grinding it for a couple hours. I accidentally got it in all extras, and I don't even know how. There is faster movement you can do around this area that saves like half a second, but it's only worth it if you get the fast cycle, and even with that movement, it's hard to make the fast cycle. But I somehow did the standard movement and got the fast cycle. But it saves more in all extras, I'm sure, because you get a better cycle for it. Like, after grabbing the extra, the cycle's just so fucking perfect. So I can try and guesstimate that later, but for now, especially because I wouldn't even intentionally go for it, and it'd be super hard to react to and get, like, the cycle fast. Because if you do that strat, like, a lot of these spikes happen to just be facing upwards at, like, the wrong time and shit. It's really cringe. So all I can go off of now is, like... I could have not gotten hit the... But that wouldn't have really saved anything. I don't really know even how this is, like, a gold. I mean, like, I don't know how I haven't been able to beat it. I lost, like, a frame there. And then this doesn't matter until here... Maybe like a frame. Maybe another frame. Yeah, I had to slow it. Yeah, so I'm gonna... Yeah, we're talking... But then cycle and... Okay. I think I got a slight speed boost there, actually. So going slow actually made me go fast. So I guess it's negated. But even then, I reacted to it poorly, which makes sense. But I did lose, like, mayhaps, like, a frame, so... Frame. And then if you get a Paga cycle... Just do that pretty fast, pretty good. So yeah, the rest of that was great. Now, throwing through, I'm very curious. Do 104.39. So that's my second oldest one so far, because my oldest one was Depression, and because the sum of us was 104.57. But I think my oldest one is Gesk. And I don't even know how this is a gold. Because I haven't been able to beat it since, and, well, I think I have a faster Xbox now. This was with my Crystal Xbox. And then I cleaned a different Xbox and tested it, and it was saving like a frame on average per load or something. But, you know when I said I compared segments in Depression? I did the same thing with Plank a while ago. I beat it now. But I did the same thing with Plank like a month ago. I don't have the thingy anymore, so I can't show you. And at the very least, on my first load, my Crystal loaded in, like, probably like 4 frames faster or something. So I don't know if it was like a coincidental bad load, or if this Xbox has now suddenly gone, because my Crystal's like basically never been opened. It has rounded screws, so it has been opened, but I have never opened it, and I've had it for years. So I bet there's loads of dust in there. If I cleaned it, I bet I could make its loads pretty good. Because right now it just has like average loads. Whereas this other Xbox I have, you know, I cleaned it out months ago. It is shielded from some dust, but I bet there's still some dust buildup in there now, but It seems like if both were in perfect condition, the crystal's probably faster, but I wonder if this one has had enough dust in it to be slower than the crystal, but I can't actually know for sure. But basically, the point I was making is that it's possible that my new Xbox would load into this level like a frame or two faster. But it looks like the reason why I'm out of gold to this is because, look, I'm doing like tiny little cartwheels. In case you're wondering why I didn't cartwheel off here, it's because of the cycle. The cycle's... I've been looking for a faster cycle here, but I've had like no success with that. But yeah, like that was pretty fast. Like just doing like tiny little cartwheels. That was like pretty good. I lost like a frame there. Oh, that was me being a big pussy. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Around this, so like 23 frames or something. But then when you factor like cartwheel thingy, so like 18. And then when you factor like... It's not like I lost 18 frames to cartwheel. It's just there was an 18 frame window where I could have cartwheeled. And you go quite a bit faster, but I don't know how much faster exactly. Maybe like double the speed or 50% more speed. So, I want to say when it's all said and done, especially with like the frame earlier. Considering I can't beat the split, this might seem like a bit of a weird estimate, but I would maybe say even like 10 frames. I think I just gotta stop playing a tiny bit more risky here. Oh, even that throw looked a tiny bit late, so yeah, I feel a lot more confident in saying 10. And I feel like even that could have been a tiny... Yeah, so again, so I feel like 10 is... good. Frame perfect, Xbox cancel. So something didn't happen here, but it's like it's basically luck. How fast Goob goes kind of depends on like he has like a big what's it called? He has like a lot of triggers around him, and the distance you were away from him before you got away from him, or he gets away from you, like determines like his speed until we catch up with him again. And in this one, I happen to get one where he just goes fast. But it's so fucking unpredictable because of human error that, like, you... It's just, you know, you can't reason... So, basically, it's possible for him to, like, start speeding up, like, after you pass him, and then he, like, pushes you forward a bit. But I don't think I got that at all in this gold. But it can happen, like, 3 times or something in theory. I mean, maybe pushed me by like a frame there. That turn was pretty good. It sucks that I didn't get a full flat 359 Sunday. Really sucks because like... You know, look at my summer best, you know, it's 1 flat 22. I had a while, but unfortunately I couldn't do it. In fact, I'm pretty sure I played No Pull Storage. I think I played No Pull Storage and then Hundo. I think. So I even had Hundo till I try and gold this. This was... You just get pushed a little bit anyway, but I probably lost like a frame or two, so I'll just say 2 frames. So yeah, you gotta follow Goofy Goober around for a lap and a half. It loses loads of time. I think it loses like 40-45 seconds compared to if you just do strats straight away. Sucks. I could have done that like a frame faster. So that's 17. It is technically more optimal there to go on the right side, you can, like, cut off even a tiny bit of dirt, and you get, like, a slightly better line. You could probably save, like, a tiny bit with that. But I don't do it. I just never I just never did it anyway, right? And then I decided to, for literally the literal first time I've ever attempted to go to the right here in my life, because these, ice cream thingies are RNG. So it's possible for them to hit you, which is why I nitro here to make it very unlikely. And basically, if you get bad RNG, the ice cream will hit you, and it's way more likely to happen on the right side than the left side, even if it's still not that likely. The literal first time I ever tried it, I was on a really good all extras run, the best I had ever been on. Pretty far ahead of my best pace, you know, the run was looking really good. And then, of course, I went to the right side, and I just fucking instantly took damage and fucking died. Because of course I did, like... Yeah, literal first ever time, so I'm, like, literally never doing that ever again. That was a little... Lost, like, at least a frame, so... The video will speed up, like, a lot after... So, one of the places where I could have gotten a goo boost, by the way, I could have gotten a small... Like, this will be mostly for later, but I could have gotten a small one in the tunnel on lap 1. And the second one where you can get one is here, but the vast majority of the time, you've already, like, way past goob. So, it just needs to line up so perfectly that it's not reasonable, so I just can't... And I don't even know how much it saves anyway, so it's better to not, like, you know... But again, that'll be for, like, the theory thing, probably. Dude, I'm an hour 26 in. And I'm actually 41 minutes into the, run. Okay, that nitro was unnecessary. Nitroing and then turning is usually a bad idea because you're not fully capitalizing on the nitro speed. Even that turn wasn't as good as lap 1, even. Yeah, I lost, like, 2 frames from that. And then, that nitro was so pointless. Probably didn't lose much, like a frame, but still. So now we're at 3.7 seconds and then 21 frames. Just so you know. And then here, spiral skip. This can have fluctuation, but considering this is my gold, I probably did it pretty fast. Yeah, that was about as good as I could have expected. I had to readjust myself a tiny bit. Yeah, I lost, like, 2 frames. I like how a lot of this is just, I think I lost, like, 2 frames. On GameCube, you can nitro through those popsicle sticks, but you can't do it on Xbox, so that's why I didn't do it, if you've seen people do that on Xbox. I mean, on, GameCube. I don't have the audio on for this video, but I don't think I talked much in this. Very concentrating. I got ahead there, so I lost a couple frames and my turn could have been better. The issue is, right, is that if you get a successful Sunday jump, you always have too many... You need to store nitros, because if you miss Sunday jump, which happens to me, like, fucking, god, like, 60% of the time, it feels like... You'll be in the off-road, you need nitros to recover, so you lose as little time as possible, so... You need a stack, but then after that, you need a fucking... Like, that Sunday jump was practically perfect, but... Now I need to get through these nitros as quickly as I can. Because I have too many, so I lost, like, a couple frames at end my turn. Could have been, like, a couple frames faster, so that's, like, 4 frames, so it's... that... Yeah, that was fine. That was, like, hardly a turn. I needed to get rid of it, so I guess I won't count that. I could have done that, like, a frame at least faster. And then I could have probably got to finish line, like, a frame faster. This is from early powers, so I don't know what my summer best was when I did this, especially because I can't even see Rubber Dub. Although 1059 weenie seems fast, so yeah. Also, this has been a gold for a while, and I just haven't been able to beat it. It skips, these stacks I normally get. However, more recently, I've been skipping them whenever I see that I can skip them, because again, I get the SCDA stack now. Like, and you might be saying, why do I always go for it now? Well, you know that Mirth thing from earlier? If you go too fast for the move and then wait a little bit, like, if you had to wait for the move anyway, basically, it's hard to explain, but you can make the stack only cost, like, half a second. It's hard, but you can make it only cost, like, half a second or something. Not off the gold was stupid fast, but compared to just, like, normal strats there, you can only lose, like, you can make it so you only lose, like, half a second, but you get, like, 700 and something manlies, which is a lot, and most of the time I can skip the TNT here and save like half a second, so that is why. God, the gameplay looks so bad, dude. My capture card was horrible, and my converter was horrible. Well, my converter was good, but like my gameplay used to look a lot better, and then I don't remember, I did something to it, and then it got a lot worse, and it has like this gray sort of filter on it almost. And I fixed it before, and then it happened again, and I don't remember how it happened, or how to fix it. So even though I was using S-Video, using a retro tank, I had probably the literal worst-looking game capture gameplay in the community, except for people using, like, webcam and shit, which is, like, a couple people. I feel like I could have even cut this, like, better, honestly. Again, at least, like, 2 frames. That jump was unnecessary, and I had like a slightly bad line afterwards, so 3 frames. I could have avoided those technically, but considering my gold didn't, and I can only skip so many manlies. I only stopped doing this super recently. But if you mash, so you spawn just above a cutscene, so you mash A to get around it. But if you do as optimally as possible, you don't mash, you just press A. But it's hard to gauge how much that actually saves. Yeah, I don't know how much I lost, but probably like a couple frames, so... I feel like there's probably a target route that we're just, like, not doing. I know it's random, but I just feel it, you know? That was actually pretty fast. I could have done that a tad more optimal, though, like a frame. Wow, that corner cut it was actually sexy as fuck, bro. That was actually really good. Dude, I don't think I've drank my water, like, at all. Dude, even that, yeah, that was really good, too. I remember I was gonna start the recording and I didn't because I was like, oh, wait, I need to get my water. But I haven't actually, like, drank. Okay, I think my movement was, like, slightly off this, like, another frame. Corner cutting here is not, like, optimal, by the way. If it looked, like, maybe in TAS or something, but I just don't see it like RTA. So again, like, another couple frames, because double jump instead of single jump. Oh, wait, what happened there, bro? I kind of, like, pussied a little bit. Okay, so, I don't know how much, I'll just say like a frame, because I don't know how much that cost me. And it looks like the rest of this will be pretty normal, however, I'm actually gonna look for one more. Ah, wait, nah, that was it. I bit off a little more than I could chew, so I had to go a little more to the right. That was like When you factor that would have had to have gone... Yeah, so like 2 frames. It saves a tiny bit to go to the far right, so again, probably lost like frame. So frame perfect Xbox cancel. No, I'm bad. This was recent. I remember my last gold in this was fucking 2020, and then I got it recently. Don't know how I accomplished that one. And it's kind of funny because based off the IL, I can theoretically gold this by like 0.3, but I don't see the time save. But when you compare like my time here to like world record time, which, you know, if I go to SRC, bosses, I guess I could have done this for Frogfish as well, but with Dennis it's easier to tell. Yeah, so... Although... Oh no, it's in 60. So time starts in these ILs, the frame that you gain control, which is here. Although the camera angle isn't always like this, but yeah. Where's my... Yeah, here's your timer. And then it ends on the final hit. So when the health bar goes to 0, hurry up, Dennis, good sir. Jesus, dude. Dude, what? Oh, I'm dumb. Okay. So, Houston got 10.96, so basically 11 seconds. But, like, just under, and I had... Oh god, until... Okay, well, time would start here. So instead of just analyzing the hell out of it, honestly, it's better to just look at it like this. Yeah, so I lost... like... 0.2... like 2. I'll just say 0.2. I'll just add that to the 3.7, so that's 0.2. Because it's hard to visibly even tell the difference between the two. I should probably do a gameplay comparison thingy and then slow them down to like 25% or something, but yeah, I don't know what the time save is. You can't bowl him too fast or else he doesn't get hit, so I guess it's just, like, in an IL, you're gonna play a tiny bit more risky, but, like, even then, I play as fast as I feel like I need to. So okay, so this is the oldest one in the run. The summer best is 105.14 in this, whereas in Depression, it was, much slower. Or much faster, even in comparison, it was, like, 104.54 or something. Basically, what happened is that, this is another one of my impossible golds, I did slow down, but I normally slow down less than that, and I don't aim, like, here. I aim kind of, like, here. And then I got, like, perfect jumps. But this was before cache loads, I know that for a fact, so I'm down, like, probably, like, 2 frames or something. And even then, my turn wasn't absolutely perfect. So I can add, like, a frame or 2 to the turn there, but, like... yeah... As you can see, like... Oh, that was interesting. How much did I lose? It's hard to say. I'll just say like a frame, because even just suggesting there's any time save here is technically not even right. Although these... I feel like I've already lost like a frame on these lamps. And again, I could save, like, a frame here. But yeah, that was, like, mid 104, which is just, like, nuts. Like, that is so insanely fast. That is, like, definitely the fastest guess, too, that's ever been done in a run. And now this one was super recent. This was the gold just before... Well, this was two golds before 59. I golded this segment and Monumental, which is, like, crazy. Like, I golded them back-to-back, and I got a 445 plank. It's crazy, dude. But yeah, well... God, the sum of best is so fast. Like, take the best split times, and then subtract, like, 50-14. You know, that's like 4908. And my segmented best is like 4831. Pretty nuts. Well, and that's already like, you know, so it's actually like the one in the like low 1x range. This is cycle based. What matters is like how quickly you destroy these and back out of it. That was pretty. And then you want to not get springy legs, which that was pretty good. I guess I could have. Maybe like in theory like 3 frames. And then there's a theory thing here later, by the way. My line there was a bit unoptimal. Yeah, I lost like at least 2 frames from that. I know my estimate is just constantly 2 frames, but like... yeah. That was pretty good. Yeah, that was good too. Yeah, the whole thing was good. The theory thing would come up in like a bit. I guess I could just say it now. There's a thing you can get, like, around, like, here, called Patrick Ledge Grab, and it's so rare and has no skill to it. It's like a 1 in 50 or something stupid. I had to readjust slightly, so I'll say, like, a frame. Time save. But yeah, if you get the Ledge Grab, it's like 2 seconds of time save, but I'll go into the theory. I think I readjusted again, hold on. Yeah, it's like another frame. And then warping back to the beginning. And then I got the quick bowl. Yeah, and then this happened. What kind of sucked, even though that goal was amazing, it was 248.02, which really sucks. Oh wait, I need to... That was a little... I lost like 2 frames. This was pretty fast, and then here, fun fact, Plank Area 2 is like the fastest platforming level load in the game. Not counting like obviously like outer world challenges and bosses, just like normal full scale levels. I mean, I know this is a 2-parter, but yeah, like basically this is the fastest load in the game. Fun fact. I just said that because there wasn't really much to talk about just then. I feel like I could have wall jumped a tad faster. Yeah, actually, nah, not really. 8 is the minimum wall jumps you can get away with here. And we don't need to see this. What matters is how much height I have at the end. 8 is risky, but it's actually possible to do this so well that you have too much height. It depends on, like, your wall jump height and shit like that, you know? Like, all of that matters. And that was practically perfect. That was, like, super optimal. In theory, I could have done a lag thingy there, but that's just too unrealistic, I feel like. I've just never even gone for that, so I'm not going to count it. And then this is just counting to 4. You know it's done perfectly. If, like, the platform is still a tiny bit above the lava, then you know you did it, like... Maybe around, like, here, so, like... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12... Actually, I'll back up like a frame, so 12, 13, 14... 21 frames? Holy shit. I'll just say 20, so that's like 0.3. I'll be a bit conservative as well. I'll just say 0.3 instead of 0.33. That's 4.2 seconds total. Plus like the 57 frames, but when we get to a second, I was gonna... And then I know my angle was bad here. My angle was actually quite bad, but it didn't actually matter that much because speed was good. Although I do think I lost, like... I'm trying to visualize it in my head. Yeah, I lost like a quarter of a second. At least, so... 4.45. And then... This gold was actually the most recent gold I got. Different gold broke me into 57. I think it was rubber dub, but my knucklehead gold was like my worst gold, and now it's like finally fucking good. This is really hard to do consistently on OG. You basically like kind of not mash, but like pretty quickly press like select and B. So like so when Mindy's text box comes up, you can cancel instead of like the entire menu opening. You can like cancel it and like get the upgrade menu to appear instead, which is much faster to open. And then you want to quickly close it with B, but it's so hard to optimally. But as you can see, that second one was like literally perfect, but like even that's pretty rare to get at that. But a lot of the time you'll see the menu flash for some frames. That was the worst one just then, I think. Sneeze. So yeah, they were all good, but not amazing. But the second one was amazing. Like that one was insane. So that could be a bit faster, but it's not really realistic. What I will say though is that my old gold did do this like point like 15 faster or something, so I'll do like point like 15 because I actually have like done it before, you know. Knucklehead as the fastest load in the game after you do Mindy skip because you disabled some assets, the level loads in a tiny bit faster. So yeah, I was thinking of adding a Mindy skip split so I could finally fucking gold Knucklehead for once in my life, but I didn't end up doing it. But it's hard. It's really hard. You know, you can fuck up the menuing. You can get slow loads. There's a lot of loads involved. You can get like a bad. Well, Mindy skip can fail again. Like the menu can kind of fuck you. Sometimes it can just kind of lag on the menu a lot. Or I mean, like the upgrade menu. Yeah, wiggled a bit, like 2 frames. There is a time save here I don't do, where you go in between the wall and the spikes, but that is not fun. I got a slightly open wound thingy in my finger, now I gotta put fucking hand sanitizer in and make it fucking sting a lot. Or else you might get infected. Fucking Jesus Lord, that fucking stings like a fucking whore. It's looking good so far, I think. Unfortunately, the IL strats are, like, fucking impossible on OG. I think they're literally impossible. And even if they had, like, even if they could work, like, 1% of the time, I wouldn't fucking do them. Yeah, this is all looking really good. And I got middle door. I suppose I could have cut the corner maybe, like, a frame faster, but honestly, I did it pretty good. I'll still say a frame, which adds up to a whole new second, which is 5.6 seconds total. And now we're looking at this. Yeah, it's hard to do better than that. I did lose some time there, and I went a little bit to the left just then. I don't know how much I actually lost, maybe like 0.1, so 5.7. Could have done that like a couple frames faster, I think. Alright, now we have Neptune. So Neptune is cycle-based, but there are obviously elements. Obviously how fast I could tar him, and then I saw I lost it like a few frames there, but I'm not expecting to get perfect, but I guess I'll add like a frame. Now, this doesn't matter until we get to here. You wanna, when he's done with his fire attack, you wanna be on the ground as soon as possible, and I'm pretty sure I did that perfectly. Again, Neptune's attacks can also have variants like Frogfish, like a, you know, but instead of being like 0.3, it could be like a frame or two. And then, did I slightly... Nah, that was fine. Yeah, that was good. And then... this... Yeah, that was good. Another thing as well is that you want to be, like, as far off the statue as possible so that you can move forward as fast as possible. But... yeah, I probably went a little more to the right than I needed to. At least a frame. Time save there. And now, even, like, this doesn't matter. I'm playing it pretty safe. Honestly, I played it safe for all of them, so I'll just add, like, more frames. I'll just add, like, a little bit more. These individual attacks last a while. It's like 20 seconds, I think. See, that one's a lot better, but I stood back a little bit. So now I'm, like, more frames. And then like, this doesn't matter until now. That was also like a couple frames. It's just so hard to do this like like a frame. So, that I can't be asked to calculate 13 frames. Actually, yes I can. So a frame is 0.0166 times 13 is 0.215, so I'll just do 0.2. So being conservative, except also kind of not at the same time, the most I can go by is 5.9 seconds. And the reason why it was, it's conservative is because there were so many times where I'm like, this is like, I can't cartwheel off like the edge of a thing like every single time. I can't get perfect frame perfect text box cancels every single time. I can't tell like the load varies, and yeah. The time save, my gold potential is more than 5.9. That's obvious. But that's as low as it can, like, reasonably get within the next, probably, like, 6 to 12 months without new developments, or assuming my movement doesn't get better, because I obviously can't see if my movement's gonna get better, because... well, like, how would I be able to, Like... How would I know if my movement's bad until my movement gets better and then I look back at the gameplay? I used to think my movement was good, and then I watch my gameplay. Dude, even my segmented even the 105 segmented run, I skimmed through that once upon a time. Maybe I'll do a video on that one, I don't know, but... even in, like, my 3k gold had, like, really obvious movement. Like, even just in general, like, the movement was just more shaky. But obviously, if it's shaky now, I wouldn't be able to tell. But I don't think it is. God, my finger's stinging, like, way more than it was earlier for some reason. Anyway. So on the one hand, I obviously have more than 5.9. But on the other hand, 5.9 is not even realistic because I still took segments that I can't really gold and took small mistakes from them and still said, well, individually I could do that. But, like... what that really means is that if new time saves were discovered, then you know, those movement mistakes could be, you know, improved on. So 6 is both conservative and not conservative at the same time. But yeah, that's as low as I can see it getting. But obviously, you know, it will keep getting lower. But that's, like, the time save that I can see, and is, you know, at least to some extent reasonable. What about the strats I could add? What's, like, the stuff I don't do in my run that we are aware of that I don't do? Well, first of all, it's possible to get on the flower without building up speed. However, the issue with that... I also probably could have done that a tiny bit faster, but the issue is, it's really hard to gauge if it even saves time. Because I build up more speed, I have more speed in the air, which means that I travel, I get from the slide to the flower quicker, so I feel like it probably makes up for having to build speed, but I don't actually know. It hasn't been tasked or anything, so I just do not know. But that might potentially be a time save, but even if it is, I'm never fucking doing it, but I can't even theoretically say, like, yeah, it's a time save, because I just literally just do not know. This is... I'm not gonna count this either. But there's a strat where, like, instead of nitroing up here, you can use this dirt pile in the background, get above an invisible wall. It has only been done once RTA with setting it up. If you didn't set it up whatsoever, it'd save, like, 3 seconds or something. Not even, like, 2.5 at most. But you wouldn't actually do that, and then it'd be, like, at most, like, 2, and then you'd, like... And then because on NTSC, like, the only proof that we have is that you land on top of the invisible wall and you lose some of your speed, so that's even less time. So now it's, like, 1.5 seconds. And it would seriously be, like, the hardest thing ever, and is not remotely possible. Like, when I say remote, like, that variant will never, ever, ever, ever be done in runs. I don't like saying never. I remember when people asked me if 59 was gonna be possible in this category when fucking Summer Best was, when my PB was like 109 or 108, 107, somewhere around there, and I said yeah, because it's like, bound to eventually, you know, that's what I said, but like, yeah, like, this shit is just, yeah. This shit is just, yeah. So I'm gonna add that into the theory thing, maybe. Actually, no, I'm not going to for a different reason, but you'll see later. But yeah, that is not a thing to add now. I just wanted to point it out. You could argue, like, not doing buffers and stuff, but again, that's just not really, like, not actually reasonable. Where is the next one? Oh, yeah, here we go. And this is only estimated time save. Granted, we were wrong about Chris animation skip time save. One of the reasons why I didn't want to learn it was because I thought it saved 2.5, and it actually saves 5.5 with the ledge grab skip full without. So, yeah, I just estimated 2.5, but I don't know why, because sometimes I try to visualize time save, and when I visualize it now, it's so obvious it at least saves more than fucking 2.5. I don't know where I got that from. There is something known as weenie out of bounds. I should have got a video, actually. But even that video is outdated. But essentially, you grab this key out of from going out of bounds, so that you don't have to do 2 laps. But you have to do so much backtracking that it barely saves anything, and it's really, really, really hard and not viable. It would only be viable. I would need a practice file, like, for the spot where you go out of bounds, and then another practice file for, like, nitro, like, for actually obtaining that key. I literally need, like, 2 practice files. And how much does it save? Well, again, it'll have to be a guesstimate, and I'll be estimating, like, the most amount possible, because it will be summer best, so I can estimate as much as I want. As long as it's actually, like, as long as I think it could be done theoretically, but... Because all I have to do is pull off once. But yeah, so what you would do, you wouldn't go to the left here, you go to the right. The right side is slower by, like, 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds. Which is why on lap 2, we don't go on that path. We literally go the faster path and then reverse. But we need to go to the right side because we get a nitro, and we need the nitro. So already, so you commit to it pretty early before even doing it. Then you nitro around here, bonk, like around here, and then land out of bounds. And then you drive backwards for like a while, right? And you get all the way to this boat. And with your remaining 2 nitros, you nitro once up there. And then you nitro again. You need to drive up for a while, so you need to, like, even get the timing of that right to optimize your nitro usage. But yeah, then you will, if you've done it right, then you will land around, you'll bounce so high that you'll land up here. And you can potentially get shot, like, pretty far up here and even just lose all the time save. So this is assuming that you get, like, a really, really good bounce, like the kind of like the perfect amount. Then you back up and then do the rest of the keys in 1 lap. Which you can do, and then you would purposely be losing health, so that yeah, you'd be losing health so that you would die around, like, here. You would die on that TNT, I believe, because it'd be faster than reloading. So when you grab the final key, you die in the TNT. And then, especially because then that allows you to use a couple more nitros more quickly, so it, you know, works out better. And then, yeah, you just go to the finish line after that. The estimated maximum time save of this is 3 seconds, but there is only 1 video of it, and that video did not save time with it. It lost, like, 0.5 second, or maybe a bit less. Granted, you know, that wasn't with the death, that was with the warp, and the death would save, like, an extra second or so, but still, like, 3 seconds is basically the most it could save, I feel like. It would take so long to get a really good segment of Weenie, like, with it. We need the practice files, and the people who make the practice files are Latte and Sky, and neither of them are ever willing to make me mods anymore. Except for very, very recently, where Latte made me Chris Animation Skip, but... Maybe it was just my interpretation, but I got the feeling of, like, this better be the last time type of vibes. I don't know, maybe it was just... I don't know if that was just me or not, but... Sky definitely won't budge, but Latte... But even then, like, that's... If it's just to try something, and it would take so long to even just try and get any... And even then, it might not even save, like, 3 seconds. We might be just doing all that for, like, 1 second. Then again, if you miss the nitro going out of bounds... You can't even do it anymore. You have to just play Weenie normally, but you literally just have already lost like 4 or 5 seconds immediately. Honestly, it might even be better resetting at that point. It just sucks, you know? But yeah, I'd say like 3 seconds, so... 3 seconds. And that is the literal best case scenario. We try to get a Tassa, the same... I think the name is Zeppi. They found Rubber Skips, so we were hoping to find something here, but no avail. Here's another one, actually. Not another one in regards to the task, but here's another time save. So you see that, right? The reason why that happens is because you attack the tongue, right? But then, before it's too late, before it goes back into the ground, you stunned it with Slam. And it is actually possible to do that with, the next 2 slams. But we already do this so optimally, and the way that we set this up, like, you can't even do it anymore. It was extremely hard because the tongue always spawns around this area, so it was very, very hard. It's only been seen a few times ever, and never in a gold, I don't think. So it's just, like, it's extremely rare, and the way that we do it now, it wouldn't, like, I do this now, it wouldn't even be possible, but it would save, like, literally, like, because this was so fast, let me think. At most, like, half a second, and even that's being a bit generous, I feel like. Yeah, no, especially because I didn't wait for it to... Yeah, no, when you factor that, I didn't even give it a chance to... You know, half a second is being incredibly generous. It might not even be half a second. But yeah, if we're being extremely generous, half a second... Here's another one. Ledge grab skip here. Very, very hard. No idea why it's so goddamn hard. It's obviously 1.5 seconds, so... 5. And then... The other thing would be doing monster skip without waiting for him to, like... There is something similar called blind monster, where you just... From here, you just go. But only Jaxla does that, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not even throwing shit at him, but most of the time when I see him do it, he misses it. It's just not RTA viable IMO. But one thing you can do is turn the camera really quickly and then jump now. We jump when the monster extends his mouth. I could have jumped now. And it's hard to say how much I would have saved. I would have jumped from, like, here, so let me pay attention to the timer. So 30, 30.83. Okay, so... Like, 0.85. You can save, like, 0.85 here. I was doing it a couple times, but I dropped it because I was getting kind of sick of missing it, but I might start grinding it again. The issue why it's so bad, other than, like, just obviously just having little time to set it up, is obviously going to make it harder. Although I didn't realize to say 0.85, I thought it would say like half a second, so that is a bit more enticing. I might consider it again. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes when you die here, the screen fucking flashes white. Like, it'll flash there, and then it'll flash, like, again around, maybe a little earlier than this, but then it's just completely unreasonable to go for it. Although I think with the quick, I call it quick Chris, getting the token the way I did. I haven't seen it happen, so maybe it's not possible if you get quick Chris, I'm not sure. So, yeah, I guess that's technically time save. It is possible to get a ledge grab skip here without buffering. I'm trying to visualize it, hold on, give me a sec. It's like, it'd be like 0.35 maybe. But it's not, like, even that buffer is a little hard. And the ledge grab skip is unreliable, but I was getting it. Like, you need to go on, like, practically the end of the eyelash. And then have, like, perfect jump spacing, but it is, I suppose it is possible, so I could add that. So, like, 0.35. Which would bring this to... 6.15 seconds a time save? I guess there was something I could technically do. Again, the bungee bowl strat here, you just bowl a target early. It's a little hard, but it saves like 1.5 if done perfectly. The reason why I can't do it is because it sets up a bowl storage on accident and you crash in Sunday. But what you could do in theory is get rid of the bowl here. But that would lose, like, a second. But you could do it, and then still save, like, half a second. But it's definitely not worth it, but you could do it, so I'm just gonna put it down. So now, at this point, I have more theoretical time save than actual time save with, like, my current stuff. Obviously, without, like, the... Without, like, extreme shit. Although, the strats I could add, again, they're all pretty fucking extreme. The most realistic one to add was Monster, I'm thinking of... Because 0.85's a lot, I didn't realize it was so much. Okay, this... I'm trying to remember this. It is possible for these spinners to... It is possible to get a damage boost off the spinners and, like, just barely touch the trigger, I think. But it'd have to be done, like, so perfectly. And you have to wait for them to hit you, and there's, like, a tiny bit of RNG. And it'd be really hard. And... I don't even know how much it'd save. And because I don't know how much it'd save, I guess I can try visualizing it. Hold on. Maybe like a second and a half? That one's kind of an asterisk, but... Maybe I should look into it again if it saves that much. But I don't even remember if it was possible. And we can't visibly see the fucking trigger. But then I can't ask Latte to make a mod, because then I have to play on hard drive, and then I can't yeah. I'll have that separate, because I just seriously don't even know if it's possible, so I'll separate it from the main time save. In theory, there's something you can do here called Invisible Crate 3 meter. Long story short, it saved like a second, but I don't even have the manlies for it, so you can basically just ignore it. But in like all extras or something I could do that, I suppose, but it wouldn't matter for like this. The other thing was the fast cycle here. I think when I got in all extras, I think I golded by like 2 seconds or something, but I think in... Actually, I think it was like 2.5. I don't know how much you gold by here, because you definitely get a worse cycle even if you do it. I'd say it's maybe a second. I'd say, maybe. I guess I could go to the right on lap 2 and Sunday, but I should just save like a couple frames. I don't think that's worth like noting. Gask, no. Dennis, no. Guess 2. I mean, in theory, I could just not slow down at all, and I'd save like well over a over a second, but no, I'm not doing that. That'll be in the theory one. Patrick Ledge Grab will also be in the theory one because it's literally not even a strat. Like, it literally just isn't. So here, I suppose if I did a quick up clip, it'd be hard to figure out, like... Okay, I can... Maybe around, like, here. So, 5219.51... Wait. Okay, I could do it from, like, here. So, 0.48. Okay, so I could do it, like, half a second faster. So, 8.15 total now, not counting the SCDA one. Because for some reason I literally can't remember if it's possible. And then there's like the spike thing that I said before. Here. you can, again, you can, like, squeeze in between the spikes and the what's it called? The wall, but I just never liked it. I can try and find out how much it saves, because there is TSSM archive. If I remember correctly, it was like 15 frames, but I would like to check myself on TSSM archive. I haven't uploaded to it for a bit. There's a couple things I gotta update. So please give me a sec, because there are a lot of videos and they don't have unique thumbnails or anything because there's so many uploads. I know it was a relatively early upload, so that's why I'm going from the bottom. However, it appears that I'm not finding it for some reason. Oh, here we go. I found it, so we'll see now. Well, I'll see. Let me see if my gameplay was optimal on both sides. It could have been like a frame faster on the other end. Of course, I didn't have a timer for it. Okay, yeah, 0.15 was my estimate. But I lost, like, okay, well... How much is fucking 0.15? Times, like, 5... Not enough. Times, like, 8... Not enough. Times 9... That's about right. Okay, so, like, 9 frames there? Well, it's 0.15. I don't know why I cared about the frames, actually. I cared about the... I mean, that's a little bit of a high estimate, but we're already, like, highballing this stuff anyway, so I guess I'll just add 0.15. I don't think there's anything else. Oh. Not true, there's, Neptune. Now, the only thing is that I'm a little unsure about one of the time saves. Allow me to... So there's 2 ways that you could save time here, and they both... Actually, yeah, no, I don't really need to go into... Yeah, so they both save about the same amount of time. One of them... Actually, one of them saves a bit less. One of them is really hard, like really, really hard relative to how much it saves. But you can do it a max of, like... It's unreasonable to do it on the first hit, but you can do it on the second, third, and fourth hit, and you can't do it on the fifth or sixth, because basically, you need to stand, like, as close to Neptune as you possibly can, basically, without him... Because if you're too close, he'll just knock you back and he'll restart his phase, so... You know, one of my PBs is just literally just instantly dead if that happens. Yeah, and you do it 3 times, which I think would save, like... I think for that one would save about 0.9. And it's really hard. Or, you can do this other strat where... You stand, like... In fact, I can show you... I can show you... you can see I'm standing in front of the statue. It's hard to time, but if you jump just before Neptune shoots, it's possible for him to shoot the statue instead of you, and then you don't need to walk forward, and you're closer to him. And you can do this on every hit. So this is... So you do this... this is quite a bit easier, but it's still hard. The difficulty of this is probably like 5 out of 10, but when you do it this much, it adds up to like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 difficulty, like, because it's just doing it every single time, at least right now, is unreasonable. So, and you do it twice as often as the other one, so it's debatable on which one is actually better. You do the easier thing, but it's still a little hard, or do you do like the way harder thing, but it's 3 times as done? And this one saves about 6 seconds. It saves like 0.1 more, maybe. Possibly. So yeah, so that one is probably the second one. The one that saves a second is probably the most realistic one, so let's add a second. And now, so again, so the visible time save was 6 seconds, but again, you know, some highballing, some lowballing, you know. But this one, strats I could add, again, it's highballing all of them, so 9.3 seconds if if the SCDA thing is possible, then at least 1.5 from it, I would estimate. So that would go up to 10.8, but I seriously don't even think it'd be possible. I can't even remember if it's possible or, like, how good of an angle you need and stuff, but if it saves that much, I need the timing. I need to see if we've already done a timing comparison. I need to see if it's possible. It's really hard to tell if it's possible, because you would need the unlock all warps cheat to get there quickly without losing your sanity. But then, how do you know that you got... And you need to get 25 tokens, so you basically need to do no pause storage until you get to that point. And then, so you're just playing the game for, like, no real reason. Not even for, like, practice, because you're just doing everything once. Even if you fuck it up, you just keep going, you know? And then you get to that area, and then I just keep bashing my head at a wall until it just, like, works. And then they need to hope that the attempt is, like, actually good. And, like, it's just fucking AIDS. Even just think about practicing, like, you know, seeing if I can even get the warp. Because if I need to double check what the trigger is in IP. So yeah, if it is a thing, then probably, like, 11 seconds. But if not, then 9.3 is, like, a highball estimate. And now there's theory things that could happen. Obviously faster, you know, skipping text boxes faster and cutscenes faster and they load faster, but I don't know how much that would actually save, so I can't really do that. But that'd just be like a few seconds or whatever, but again, can't really do it. One theory thing would be, like, never buffering, but that would just not happen. But you could argue for golds, because I've already done that in some. It could be possible for others. Although it's hard to remember how much, like, tokens that you're forced into, like this one, like, lose the least amount of time, but it's hard to remember how much, I have a good comparison for this. I have a depression bounce buffer comparison that I did a while ago. I'm trying to find it. Where it go, bruv? I literally don't know where it went, bruv. I literally don't know. Oh, there it is. 9 frames, which I already have that up, so that's about 0.15. Actually, that's a low baller because buffers are a little unreliable, so this would also be 0.14. So, and then the other one in depression, so that's 0.28. I already don't buffer the creek. Now here are 2 more theory things that could happen. And one of them is, like, super ultra mega theory. Now, there's no video proof of this, because I'm the only one who's done this trick, and, it happened, I didn't even know it could happen, and I wasn't recording. If you fuck this up in, like, the right way possible, like, the most perfect way possible, you can kind of, like, ricochet off of the bulldozer without ever even landing on top of it, and then bounce to the other side. And by the time you land over there, like, you're already, like, lined up pretty well for the nitro. And you would never intentionally get... I think you need to aim kind of, like, here, and then bounce off it like that and get good height. Like, you would never intentionally do it. And now I'm a lot better at the trick than I used to be, even though the trick is horrible. I get it, like, what feels like 40% of the time overall. But it might be more, I don't know, but that's what it fucking feels like. Especially yesterday. Yesterday's stream. But yeah. This... I'm trying to figure out how much this would, like, actually save. I'm trying to visualize it in my head. Like... Let me think. Like, at least 1 second. That might even be lowballing. But then again... What's the chances I have just as good of a sandwich driving and then that happens? So I feel like it's fair to lowball to be honest. So I'm gonna say... Actually, let me check one more time. Also, one theory thing, I guess, would be park out of bounds, but it hasn't even been proven to be fucking possible on NTSC Xbox. Yeah, like a tad over a second when you factor, yeah. So the other thing that I mentioned earlier would technically be possible, but this is significantly more likely to occur and is still insanely unlikely to occur, so, you know. Now, the other thing, if you did get that, I don't know what the Wrecking Ball cycle would be. But it's possible you could get right side, and right side saves us half a second. And you might say, well, shouldn't I factor that? But I don't even have to, because there's another thing that can happen here to get guaranteed right side. It's only ever been seen twice, but it's... So, when this Wrecking Ball loads into the level, which is just when you spawn in, there is obviously, like, an astronomically low chance, if we've only ever seen it twice, astronomically low chance that this Wrecking Ball, like, this is roughly where its spawning position is. It can literally just get stuck. Just, like, never moves. And at least with this current setup that I do, if that did happen and I did everything else good, I would save half a second. But even, like, even if I got, like, the other thing, I would save half a second from that on its own. So, yeah, like, not realistic at all, but again, this is theory, and, you know, that's probably only a bit less likely to happen than the other thing, and if I get the other thing, I probably can just do this anyway, so, like, you know. So... you can do a faster bash boost here. You can start doing the bash boost like here. It's significantly more risky. You're way more likely to die, and more importantly, you're way more likely to lose ice physics glitch, which is when you lose a glitch that makes you faster on ice blocks than you're supposed to be, which saves like 7 seconds or something in SCDA floating block. So you need it. Like, there's a few ways to lose it, but like the main way is spit. And yeah, you can just get hit in midair. And it's significantly more likely to happen if you do it from here. But this does save, like, I think it was like 7 frames or something, which would be 0.11. So let's add it to the total, because it is possible for a gold to have that, you know. I don't think there was anything else. Yeah, I don't think so. BBBH. You know that thing I was talking about, like, just, you know, getting thrown up here? That could theoretically happen on every jump, and you saw how much is saved before. Like, look at this now. I reacted to a poorly, and I already passed the trigger, so, like, that was, like, the worst one to, like, where I could have even gotten it still, like, fast. If I theoretically... and I have gotten, like, 2 in a row before. If I theoretically fucked up every single jump... dude, it'd be, like, at least 3 seconds. At least. So... I'll even round it up to the nearest second, so, like, full point, like, 3.11 or something. So, 5 seconds of time save. Was there anything else here? I mean, in theory, I could get that God RNG that I was talking about earlier, and then, like, skip more stacks, but that's just, I mean, come on. Like, yeah, I can do that, but, like... I probably just skip the SCDA stack, and I'd only save half a second. I guess that should be factored in. Yeah, if I got God RNG. But that, again, in future, if we find even more strats, it just, like, imagine, like, Rockslide Hans to say, well, the Manly Red be absolutely fucked at the grind in SCDA, but as for now, I guess God RNG would also, in the overall run, make me say more. But then again, my golds have me skipping stuff anyway, like that sort of stuff. Yeah, no, so I shouldn't bother counting it. So the next one is, well, you know how in Rub-a-Dub 2, I got, like, I got it, like, so fast I couldn't reasonably go for it? If I've already gotten a gold like that, it could eventually happen in Rub-a-Dub 1. As you can see, it's like roughly by here. So all we have to do now is look at Rub-a-Dub 1. As you can see, I lost like at least like half a second, although I built up more speed, so it negates it. So yeah, like half a second. So I could gold this by another like half a second. And if I've already done it in 2, when it's later in the run and harder, even harder to like react to and shit, like then yeah, I could definitely. It's practically guaranteed that I will accidentally do it in future and like get the trick and have good movement to the end and like, you know, good loads and all. Like it just will happen, but it might take forever, or I might quit the game before that happens. But if I play this game for like 10 more years, like obviously it would happen. There's no debating that. So I feel like it's, you know. Oh yeah, technically, there was another buffer that we could look at. Disco buffer. Now, this buffer costs like 2 seconds. Actually, it's like 1.5. However, I got the ledge grab skip, so I saved like 2 seconds. Which means I actually save like half a second over not buffering. Is it possible to do without buffering the ledge grab skip? Yes. It's only been seen like once or twice. It's like twice. It's so fucking hard. It is so hard. But if I did do it, I'd save like a second and a half. So let's add that up because it is theory, so 7 seconds. Oh yeah, exact same thing in sandwich driving here. Same exact thing even with right side, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, like 1.5 seconds. Rock slide. My gold didn't buffer the first super jump, but I could have also done that for the second super jump. In fact, the second super jump unbuffered would save more time, right? Essentially, you saw that I wiggled around a bit there, but that's for a reason. In fact, I got a little lucky. If your jump spacing is really good, you would land like a little further forward than this. And it's possible to clip through this, and then you die and you lose like 50-something seconds, I think. Yeah, you lose like 55 seconds. But this is like about as close as I can get without like actually clipping through. I mean, I could have even clipped through with this, honestly. So I could get a little better distance and not have to do the buffer. Although it's hard to figure out how much time it actually... So, we're talking like... Okay, so from like here, so 10.88. Okay, so I lost like a little, so I lost like 1.13 when you factored like that other thing as well. It's like at least 1.2. But again, because I skipped TNT and stuff and I wouldn't normally do that, so yeah, I'd say like 1.2 is like fair enough. So that's 9.7. Now though, man, I already said everything. I probably should have said that strats I could add thing. I probably should have, like, for Bungie, I probably should have put that in the theory, but whatever. If I got God RNG in BBBH, I suppose I could go for this. But sometimes my manlies are worse than this. They kind of fluctuate quite a bit. But yeah, if I get God RNG and BBBH, I suppose I theoretically could do this, and it does save like a second. It needs to be retimed, I believe. It's, like, from old timing, it's like a second. You, like, throw the crate at the wall, and like, the collision, it ricochets, and the speed turns into upwards momentum, and it's pretty stupid, and I honestly just think it's harder than doing 3-meter jumps when you get good at them. And you already do BBBH, and if you're good at the game, you do guess jumps as well, so it's like, why wouldn't you do this? But, yeah, no, like... I suppose it could maybe theoretically be done, but, god, then I really would actually never be the gold. If we're talking theory, then I could have technically done this a little better. I don't know how much better exactly, but I'd say at least, like, 0.1. So let's do 0.8. I already did floating block. Dude, there's something unfortunate, by the way. The video's already really long, it won't take long to say this. We thought about getting a damage spike off of one of these blocks over here, and then, like, buffering, and then damage, like, basically jumping over to this token. But there's, like, this weird thing that can happen in Battle and Movie, where, like, a one-frame would work, where it gets eaten with, like, specific, like, areas of the map and stuff. In Goo Lagoon, it happens with, like, near, like, the smallest sandcastle in front of the big sandcastle. I remember people trying to do a bash one-frame up there, and eventually it was done, but it was just, like... And yeah, there's also, like, one near the Chris and Monster Skip area. Where, like, even with buffering, it literally just will not work. I think it might not even be possible, even if it did work. Maybe you'd probably have to do it, like, perfect. So maybe that's a good thing that it's not possible, but dude, that saves, like, so much time. Let me see if I could do this, like, faster. 'Cause in theory, it is possible to, like, get hit by spikes and then, like, bounce, like, you can, like, get almost, like, I have gotten, like, one-frame recoveries from, like, getting hit by spikes and doing one, but, like, that's just, like, fucking... I know I said, like, oh yeah, I could do that sandwich driving thing, but, that would... At that point, I could just say that about, like, a lot of damage boosts in the game, and then it's, like, where do I draw the line on, like, even, like, theory time saves? Honestly, I feel like there's, like, 0.2 here or something. I'll just do 0.1. So I add it to the original times, because it was 5.9 before, I'll make it 6. There is something here. Oh, wait, this is the wrong one. There is something here called SCDA, Fast Corkscrew. Imagine the worst trick in the universe, and then that is what... Like, seriously now, it is, like... It's been done, like, once. Like, it is possible, but... You need to go onto the edge, and, like... You need to, like... Get off of it, like, get off the edge at the perfect time. You need to, like, bounce off of this at the perfect time and just barely land here. And that's not all. The cycle afterwards is hard. I'm not sure, like... How much? Hold on, I have an idea, actually, on, like, how we could calculate this. Because a task of it was made before. I'm not sure how optimal the task was because it was back in the olden days. But I could just do it based off of this. Okay, so 53 seconds, and... Give me a second, I'm gonna try and find something. Hopefully I can find it. Why did I find a movie Roblox test? That's not what I'm looking for. God damn it. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I go into the channel now and I'm gonna do Control F movie. No movie videos on the channel. Must be a secondary channel or something. Do they have it added? Oh, god damn it, dude. Really busting my balls here, bro. Unless it's just, like, unlisted. Is this it? No. Okay, I seriously, I can't find it. I literally just can't find it. But there is a fast cycle that you can technically do here. I don't know how fast you can do all this, but I suppose the way that we're gonna have to estimate is just how much time is lost here, roughly, so... Okay, so I estimate from at least, like, like, I would have already landed here by now, so... We can, like, figure it out like this. Yeah, probably around, like, here. Again, this isn't perfect, but this is all I can go off. 9.7. So, you know, depending on if you could do the rest of it just as fast, which probably might not be able to. 9.7. So that launches the theoretical time saves, but trust me, it's like never gonna be, not never, but like, not gonna be done in any recent years, unless a setup can be found for it. Of course, my dog is barking. Thank you, dog. I need to wrap this video before my parents go to bed, so I don't have to talk quieter. But then again, they're probably gonna, they go to bed inconsistently, but they'll be like at most like an hour, but earliest will be like 20 minutes. I'll probably be done before then. So 9.7, so I'm bad at math, so let's just add 10 and then remove 0.3, and then that is 20.5 seconds. Alright, what else? Sunday, I didn't factor, like, goo push because, like, you know, it's just so unreliable. You can get it, like, 3 times, and I don't know how much it saves, but if I had to make an estimate of, like, how much it can save, 0.25 at least. So now it's 20.75. Yes. I wouldn't really say, like, oh, I could just not... I think even in theory, not slowing down here is... But then again, for a gold... How much time did I lose? I lost like I lost like a minimum of a second. But I guess if I just slow down a tiny bit, I guess that's more real, but that's still unrealistic. There's a lot more, you know, for a theory thing. So yeah, at least a second. Plank. Oh yeah, Patrick ledge grab. Yeah, like I said, it saves 2 seconds. Nothing I can do here. Yeah, nothing here. So, right now, we're looking at visible time save, 6 seconds, but, you know, being conservative and all that, but then in some ways I wasn't. Strats I could add, 9.3 seconds. But the most realistic one just being the monster thing that saves like 0.85. I didn't realize it saved that much, so I probably will at least try and tackle it again. And maybe the SCDA thing, which could save, I think, a minimum of 1.5. I think it could save a minimum of 1.5. But I don't even know if it's possible, or like how hard it is. Again, practicing it would just be like the worst thing in the game. Like, it'd be the most inconvenient thing to practice because even a practice mod can't get around it. So even in theory, it'd be like the worst thing to practice in the game. Unless it's easier than I think. I think we looked at it before, but I don't even know. And it might not, I mean, I still think it's at least 1.5, but yeah. So 6 seconds of visible time save, 9.3 of strats I could add, plus a theoretical at least 1.5, which adds up to 10.8, which is basically 11. So at that point, that's like nearly 17 seconds. That's like 17 seconds of time save. And then the theory things, 23.75. I was being a little too conservative, so I added it up to 24. 17 plus 24 is 41. So 41 seconds, like, this is if, like, I had, like, infinite time, practically, and, like, you know, let's say my movement is already perfect. Well, that still doesn't mean that these segments are gonna have perfect movement, so... Right now, my sum best is, very low, 59.57, so... If you remove 41 seconds, I mean... Now it's, 59.16. Is that right? Yeah. Like, low 16. And even if you want to, you know, add some more milliseconds, there'd be a 15. And the final thing... Well, and then obviously there's, like, text box canceling and all that. If I had to make an estimate, maybe, like... Throughout the entire run, compared to my golds, probably, like, 4 seconds or something. I feel like that's a reasonable... Actually, you do go... Yeah, but there's a lot of cutscenes and a lot of text box, but still 4 seconds? Nah, I'd say, like, 3. Even 3 feels like pushing it a little bit, but I'll say 3. And then finally, faster Xbox. My Xbox is average. I think the fastest Xbox isn't like a B drive. Is like, I think it's like 2.5 seconds faster than mine or something. So that already brings the sum best down a bit. However, if you had like a B drive that was like fucking factor, B drives are Samsung. They came out in like 2001 and 2002, and they're called Samsung B. They came out before A models for some reason. A models are already probably the best drives anyway, but Bs are the fastest. But at least from current knowledge, they appear to be pretty unreliable. You know, they can get stuck on loads. They seem to crash more often. They get stuck on text boxes and stuff like that. They just seem very unreliable. They definitely are less reliable than other Model Xboxes, like past like Philips. So basically against Samsung A and Hitachi, like that is like objective fact. But it's hard to say with like, you know, like somebody could buy one and it could be like brand new, like never used, except maybe even like and there's no erosion because like the clock capacitor has been removed. And, like, you use that and, like, a fucking factory seal. If you bought, like, a factory seal copy of movie, you could probably... I have 2 copies of movie in TSC. And one of them loses, like, 4 seconds over this one, I think it was. Although, granted, and even this one's relatively scratched. So a perfect one into this. Obviously, you just get worse and worse. But if I could get immediate goals with them, I think I'd save at least, like, 2 seconds. So that's right off the bat, like, so I guess faster Xbox / disc should be, like, what it should be called, at least 2 seconds of it. Actually, well, if I could tie, like, the fastest Xbox, which, again, is, like, 3 seconds faster than mine, and then have, like, perfect disc, it'd be, like, 5 seconds. Then B drives save a lot on top of that, so... I think the most time save that we saw with the B drive was, like, 20 seconds. But they probably had, we're pretty sure they had cache, yeah, no, they definitely had cache loads before we did, but... B drive and, like, their disk, I don't know how much it would have been. I feel like if it's, like, factory sealed Xbox, it could save, like, 20. On top of even just, like... Actually, on top of a really, okay, let's say, like, 18. So that's like 23 seconds. So, 23 seconds if I had, like, perfect Samsung B and fast loads. Actually, nah, it should be like 25. Like 25 seconds, because the fastest one we saw again, it was like 19 seconds or something, but you had to, and then cache it, but my disc isn't perfect, and the disc probably wasn't perfect, and... If you bought, like, every B drive that still works, like, there's probably one with just, like, unbelievably good loads. So, yeah. Also, another thing that could theoretically be done is playing on 360. 360 is not worth it overall because, its lag tech is slower and significantly less viable. Buffers are basically just not viable and has a slower paddy wagon. But in certain segments, you could get golds on 360 because 360 has faster loads, and you can get 360s that act like B drives. They have, like, basically the same effects as B drives and stuff. I have one, so... But who knows how fast I could get. The fastest 360 we've seen compared to the fastest one allowed on the boards saved, like, 30 seconds or something. And that wouldn't have been perfect disc, so... God knows how fast that, you know... Although we don't know how fast, like, that, you know, how fast the 360s can get before it's, like, unreasonable or whatever. So it probably, like, with, like, perfect disc and 360 and stuff, you could save, like, so much time, but it wouldn't be worth it RTA, and... But you still could, like, gold, like, no cheese, and just anything, like, that just has, like, token buffers, basically, as, like, the issue. Like, you can, theoretically, like, you could smash golds on 360. So maybe I should add that to the theory thing, I guess. But I don't even know how much time I should add, because, again, they save a... 360 already saved a bit, and then that 360 was super fast. We don't know the condition of the disc, and I don't think they had cache loads. I don't even know if cache loads are affected by 360. So this is, like... the least the least accurate estimation, but compared to like the fastest B drive shit, like if we're talking about perfect like 360, but then factoring I wouldn't be able to gold some stuff, I could probably save like actually, I don't even know if it would save anything over a B drive after factoring slower. But individually, you could get it to, actually. Maybe like 5 seconds? I could be so lowballing this. It could be even 10 or 15, but when you factor, I wouldn't even be able to gold like any of the driving segments. Or monumental, or... I think that's it, actually. But yeah, like... Yeah, so it's probably more than 5, actually. I'd say like 8, but that could still potentially be lowballing it. So, the most time save I can possibly theoretically comprehend is, let's add it up, so... I said like 41 seconds before. Hold on, I'll add it up again. So 6 plus 9.3... Of course, there's still more, like, again, like, task movement, shib, car-wheeling stuff, but... Oh, wait, I forgot one more thing. This is supposed to be for the strats I could add section. Dude, I can't believe I forgot. I'm so deep in. It's called toilet buffer. You can just do it at 1 frame, so that is, like, a theoretical thing that you could do, but... You can get a damage boost here, and it saves, like, a little bit, but I think it's only, like, 6 frames or something, but I don't like it because, buffers are a little unreliable, and you need to do the inputs fast for, like, it to be faster than toilet skip. You can also get a ledge grab skip in toilet skip, I just remembered. Oh, god damn it, dude. That has only ever been done, like, once or twice or something. It's not realistic at all, but dude, I completely forgot about it. Fuck. Alright, toilet buffer comparison. I'm looking at it right now. Like 8 frames. Yeah, so toilet buffer saved 8 frames. That's all I would ever realistically add RTA. So 0.6 times 8. Okay, it's like 1.3 seconds, so... Oh, 0.13 seconds. So we're gonna add that up to 43. And then when you factor that the buffer takes like a second and a half, we get a little extra distance with it actually. But with BBBH, I said a second and a half. Okay, I'll take away like 0.1 from SC, from BBBH. And then I will add like 1.4 to the theory thingy. Actually, no, I wouldn't at this point. Because you can get a ledge grab skip for toilets. It wouldn't save exactly 1 point. Yeah, it saved like 1.7 or something. But then when compared, yeah, so it'd be like 1 point, like, let's just say like 1.55. I feel like is good. So 28.15, or I mean 20. Alright, now I think that's like actually pretty much everything, so 6 plus 9.43 plus 1.5, just in case, plus 28.20 plus, like, let's just add up, like, you know, B drive shit, and yeah, so like 33 seconds. So the most that I can, like, other than getting into like the cartwheel stuff, which I guess probably throughout the run I'd probably add an extra like 10 seconds of time save or something. If you wanted to add that, it's like 88 seconds of time save, but without that stuff, like just adding the stuff that's on the notepad, it's 78 seconds, which is a minute 18. Which would bring the summer best down to... I have to factor in the milliseconds as well. It'd pretty much bring it down, so it'd be like super high 56, and then it'd be 58-56, and then 58-46, and then 58-38. But then I guess with the cartwheeling and like extra movement stuff, it'd be like at least like 10 seconds, so then it'd be like 58-28. So 58-28 is like the lowest it could just like, it could possibly theoretically go with current understandings and current theoretical things that could occur and like current strats and all that. If I played this game for a quintillion years, assuming my movement already has peaked, like in terms of just like, you know, like not wiggling the stick around and shit like that, and some of the stuff just being a statistical inevitability at that point, then I could get my summer best into 58-28 range. Which is very fast, but if we even give this, like, remotely any fucking realism, it's more like, for now, I'd say like 4 seconds from the visible time save, then, like, the 0.85 from Monster, and then maybe the spike thing again, so that's like 0.15, so with any sort of realism, without going absolutely overkill, if I was just still trying to lower my summer best right now, the lowest I could reasonably expect it to go down, so let's again round it down to 56, because it's like practically right there, the lowest I could reasonably expect it to go, right now, is 59, 51. But I'm thinking of looking into that SCDA thing with Patrick. The damage boost. I feel like if it... Actually, I just visualized a way in which it could maybe not save 1.5, but either way. Yeah, so right now for my current skill level, again, just being actually realistic and just the most I can reasonably expect at the moment, if I just try to grind some best for another month or two, would just be like 59, 51. So not even in the 4x range. That is sad. This game is like, I might make a video on this, but this game is low-key like because it's so linear and stuff, and nobody's ever trying to find anything, and I'm a bad strat hunter, and like there's only so much you can do with the routing, and like there's only so much your movement can improve in a game like this. This game feels like it will have an end. A game like Battle keeps evolving because it just keeps having like new tech and, you know, cruise boosting speed stuff, but like, what the fuck are we supposed to do here? We just need to basically hope for like big time saves, I feel like. The weenie thing is like never happening without practice mod, and I can't get it. I probably won't be able to get Latte to agree to, and even if I could, like, it'd probably be such agony to get it to be fast. I could try looking into the ledge grab skip and now the men again, but like, I just don't really see it happening. It's just, I would say there's only so much a human could do, but because I have time right now, I mean, I could do stuff, but like, you know, without being too, like, super harsh on myself, I don't really see how I'm supposed to get into the 4x range right now. I feel like this game really needs, like, strats to survive, whereas, like, some speed games don't need that, but I feel like this could potentially, you know, strat hunters are an all-time low. Active runners are not on an all-time low, but they are still very low, is basically just me. We're at the point, and I just don't care to place a couple categories, like 80%, and, yeah. And 3%, but what, like, this game feels like it has an end for as long as strats don't get found, but it's also the type of game where strats don't get found that often. There's some theoretical big stuff that could get found, and maybe I'll make a video on that too. You know, mostly ball storage effects, or like VMS, or Hansa Sable, but yeah. Anyway, so the conclusion is that 4x right now is not reasonable, but I can get it down a few more seconds reasonably right now. But yeah, this category might potentially be seen the beginning of the end. Because I don't intend on buying a B driver or anything, or buying like perfect condition Xbox or disc, or and like the thing, like the sandwich driving thing, like that's not gonna happen for a fucking eternity. It might take so long that I just quit the game by then. Like, yeah. So right now it can only go a little lower, so my summer best is pretty good, I'd say. And only, you know, as categories evolve more, like, only so much stuff from No Pole Storage transfers to other categories now. ST102 doesn't, and, you know, More Bounce and Monumental don't, and Knucklehead doesn't, and, BBBH doesn't, and so on. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. This was very long. Only a little shorter than the anime video. Anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye.